Hey guys, welcome back to West Virginia Mountain Life. We're going to make some butter. I like homemade butter because it has a better taste to it, and there's just a lot of different things that I like to fix to get that good, rich, buttery texture, and it doesn't have all the extra additives that margarine and things like that has to it. And we can make our own butter out of heavy whipping cream that you get right straight from the store. This is a carton of heavy whipping cream that I purchased just from my local grocery store. There's nothing special about it. It's just regular old heavy whipping cream. And we're going to start out by using a half of this carton, approximately a half of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to pour this down into our KitchenAid. If you don't have a KitchenAid, that's fine. Use a regular mixer. You can even use a hand mixer. It's just a lot easier in our regular KitchenAid mixer. We're going to pour in here, like I said, half of this carton, or approximately half of this carton. That's about half of it. And we're going to turn it on low. And we're just going to start letting it stir. Now, the whole gist of this idea here is to let it whip until it starts forming butter. And it actually will just whip itself up into butter. There's nothing special about it. The only other things you're going to add to it is going to be some salt. I go ahead and while I'm waiting, I have a bowl of water ready. And it's just regular water and a colander, because once we get this whipped up into butter the way that we want it, we've got to wash it and squeeze out all the water and press it together to make the butter. Also, you need to have a couple of containers ready, because you're going to, number one, save the buttermilk off of this, because you will have actual buttermilk that comes off of your butter. And we want to save that because we can use that buttermilk in our biscuits or cornbread or anything that you would use buttermilk for. It actually makes regular buttermilk, like homemade buttermilk. So we want to be able to save that, and we also want to have a container to put our butter over into. So right now, we've had it on low for a few seconds. It's starting to whip, but it's not really getting to the butter texture, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm turning it up from stir to number 2 on a KitchenAid. And this is a slow process, guys. It's just taking its time to whip it into shape. It's not something that you want to rush. Just let it do its thing, and it'll just whip right up. It sure does beat, having to sit there with the churn and churn and churn and churn for hours at a time, like, we had to do way back when. We have these neat little devices now that does all the work for us, so we're taking the easy route out here, but you're still going to get the same results. So I'm going to let this whip for a little while, and then I'll turn it up in a few seconds and let it whip some more until it whips up into butter. I'm going to let you go, and I'll be back whenever it starts making butter, okay? Alright guys, we're getting close. We've almost got butter. It's getting nice and thick. You can hear the strain on the mixer. As you can see, it's almost looking like butter, which is a really good sign. It takes quite a few minutes for this, so don't get impatient with it, because I know it's aggravating, but you want to give it plenty of time to whip up the way you need it to. What we're going to do is, whenever it gets ready, we're going to pour the buttermilk over into the jar, and then we're going to put the butter over into the strainer. I'll show you all that in just a second. About halfway through is when we added our salt. As far as how much much salt to put and how much salt not to put. That's kind of to your taste. I like a little bit more salt than most people, but they say on average a pinch of salt will do, which is usually like 1/8 of a teaspoon. I think I'll probably put more like a 1/2 teaspoon in mine, but that's just me because I like salty butter. But as you can see, it's whipping up really, really good here. And I did turn the mixture on up to 6 to get it to whip faster. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit because we seem to be throwing butter everywhere. So if I have butter on my face, that would be why. But I thought it would be neat to do this video to show you guys how to make the butter because I made all that jelly the other day and I thought, well, you know, you can't have jelly without homemade butter. It's a sad but true fact. And we are getting there, guys. It's starting to clump up. What we want to see is it actually get to the clumpy point to where it's going to stick together where I can roll it in a ball. Now if you want a nice whipped butter, right there you go. Stop it right there, scrape it out and put it into a container. But we like a nice firm butter that we can kind of chunk off and use. I think it's so pretty. It's got such a good color and stuff to it. You can freeze this butter also after you make it. I'm going to make a couple of batches tonight since I had a whole container of heavy whipping cream. After I finish with this batch, I'll go ahead and make another batch. And I'll keep one out in the fridge and then I'll vacuum seal the other one in our food saver. And I'll vacuum seal it and put it over into the freezer, and you can keep it in the freezer. And we're getting close. Just a little bit further. To at some point, like right now, I'm going to scrape it down some from the sides. Even though I've got a good blade on here, I still am going to scrape it down a little bit because it seems to be getting close up to the sides of the thing and it's missing the actual mixer. We're going to scrape all that yummy buttery goodness down to where it can get into the blade and mix some more. And like I said, guys, if you like a really soft whipped butter, it's going to be super buttery flavor if you stop it right now though, because you haven't got any of the extra cream or anything off of it, the buttermilk part of it or anything off of it. So it's going to have a really potent butter flavor if you stop it right here. But you can actually stop it right here if you want that. It smells so good. pop her on up to 4. There we go, you see it? It's starting to get real clumpy and thicker and have a little bit denser consistency. And that, my friends, is what we call butter. Okay, we're almost there. I don't want to work it so much that it makes it super, super hard. Okay, I'm thinking that's about right. So we're going to cut it off. And at this point, here's where your buttermilk part comes in. I'm going to rake everything that we can get off the mixy thing off. But y'all just love these technical terms I use. I don't normally watch my own videos because, well, I'm here whenever we make them. But the other day I was watching that jelly one and I got tickled at listening to me talk about the doomamaflauchets and the hickey-majiggers, and yeah, that's just me. I make up all kinds of really cool names for stuff, so I have no technical terms for anything, so just word to the wise, it's pretty rough. Alright, now, what we're going to do is I'm going to set this colander over here for just a minute, and this is our bowl of water that we're going to wash this butter in. Okay? I'm going to scoot him back before he falls off and breaks. And I would cry my eyes out. Okay. We're going to scrape down the butter from the sides of the bowl. All the way down. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to kind of form it together with the spatula before I pick it up, because it just makes it easier. And at this point, I'm going to go in here and try my best to form a ball. And it seems like I've got a lot of butter. And you're just going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and try to form you a ball. This is still a little bit soft. It might could have went a little bit longer in the mixer, but it's still workable. All this liquid that you see coming off of here is buttermilk. See how it's forming a ball? Just going to keep picking up butter and sticking to it, because it will stick to itself. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Get all that good buttermilk goodness out of there, because our biscuits in the morning is going to be grateful for that. Alright. Now, I'm going to put my ball of butter, I'll get it out in a minute, over here in this colander. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to put my ball of butter down in the water. Forgive me, y'all, I don't have a lot of room to work here on this little table. I'm going to wash, 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 and bring it over and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And the reason I'm squeezing it through the colander is because I want that buttermilk that's coming off of here as we wash. Wash the butter, squeeze the butter. And now it's forming into the perfect consistency. And there you have it, guys. A perfect little ball of butter. I'm going to put it over into a container. This one will go in my fridge. And the buttermilk will go in my fridge. But first I'm going to go wash up. I'll be back to show you the buttermilk. Okay, guys. So, I told you I was going to make another run, and that's what I've started to do here. After I got nice and cleaned up, because I was a little on the buttery side. But I went ahead and poured my buttermilk over into this jar. And as you can see, this is a regular old mason jar. And it says that we have 200 milliliters, or a little better, of buttermilk off that one little batch of butter. So when I get done, Lord willing, I should have about this much buttermilk, which is a pretty decent amount for biscuits or, you know, anything like that. So we ended up with this much buttermilk and a ball of butter out of a half a carton of whipping cream. That's pretty doggone good, I think. So, as you can see, I know it was kind of a lengthy video waiting on it to do its thing, but it's well worth the time, guys. Take your time and make your stuff homemade. It's so much better for your family. It's better in general. And it's good to know that you can do things that are kind of semi-homemade. You know, we used heavy whipping cream from the store, but we made butter from it. Just like the jelly that we made the other day. We used the juice from the store, but we made homemade jelly. Please try to make some of this stuff for your family. You know, I use a lot of ingredients from the store, but it still is so much better for your family to make it from scratch if you can. Shout out to all my viewers. Thank you guys for all your comments. We really appreciate you all. Please keep commenting if you like what you're watching with us. Let me know about it. And Jess, I promise you, I'm going to make your beets. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. I just hadn't got around to it yet. But we're going to do some pickled beets. And we're going to do them from canned beets from the store. So that's going to be something interesting to watch too. But just keep watching us. Subscribe if you like us. And let us know what you think. Give us some ideas. We love you all. God bless. And hope to see you again.